Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, we can't hear you.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me now?
Yes, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. It's all rainy and very wet everywhere. I don't know whether it's raining there. It's raining cats and dogs everywhere. Good evening. Hare Krishna. Very happy to see all of you here.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitamatam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sakitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oops, I'm off. Hare Krishna. So today evening, this Sunday evening, where many of you from different places are actually online on the Gita Wisdom session. Some of you from our BGO sessions, some Gita Live sessions, and congregation members, all of you on Zoom, on YouTube, on Facebook, or however it's been spread. Welcome to all of you. Very happy to see you here today. It's a wet day here. It's been raining cats and dogs. It's a little surprising. All of a sudden it's raining. So today we are going to discuss from the chapter, very famous shloka, which some of you may have, or some of you may remember very well. I want to utilize this amazing opportunity to also connect this up with important issues that exist socially in this world. And right now, issue of how our atmosphere is and what will happen in this particular situation. I'm looking for that particular, where is it? Oops. What will happen if we continue like this? Very nicely explained by Krishna himself. Yeah. Please, those of you who have the book with you, go to chapter 16, and we shall examine this shloka number 8, which is normally very well known. I will chant this a little bit. Chapter 16, text 8. Asatyam apratishtam te jagadahur anishwaram aparasparasam bhutam kim manyat kamahaitukam. Please, I will chant this once more, and after this we will repeat it line by line. Asatyam apratishtam te jagadahur anishwaram aparasparasam bhutam kim manyat kamahaitukam. Please repeat after me. 1, 2, 3. Asatyam
apratishtam
Jagadahur Anishwaram Aparaspara Sambhutam
Parasparasambhutam Kim manyat kamahaitukam. I chant each line once. After that, you chant. Initially, you don't chant. You hear, see the book. And after that, you chant. Follow me one by one. Asatyam apratishtam te
Asatyam Aprastite
Jagat ahuranishwaram
Jagadahur
Aparasparasambhutam
Aparasparasambhutam
Kim anyat kamahaitukam. Thank you. Asatyam, unreal. Apratishtam, without foundation. Te, they, Jagat, the cosmic manifestation. Ahu says Anishwaram, with no controller. Aparaspara, without cause. Sambhutam, arisen. Kim anyat, there is no other cause. Kama haitukam, it is due to lust only. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: they say that this world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. Purport: the demonic conclude that the world is phantasmagoria. There is no cause and effect, no controller, no purpose. Everything is unreal. They say that this cosmic manifestation arises due to chance material actions and reactions. They do not think that the world was created by God for a certain purpose. They have their own theory that the world has come about in its own way, and that there is no reason to believe that there is a God behind it. For them, there is no difference between spirit and matter, and they do not accept the Supreme Spirit. Everything is matter only, and the whole cosmos is supposed to be a mass of ignorance. According to them, everything is void, and whatever manifestation exists is due to our ignorance and perception. They take it for granted that all manifestations of diversity is a display of ignorance. Just as in a dream, we may create so many things which actually have no existence. Then, when we are awake, we see that everything is simply a dream. But factually, although the demons say that life is a dream, they are very expert in enjoying this dream. And so, instead of acquiring knowledge, they become more and more implicated in their dreamland. They conclude that as a child is simply the result of sexual intercourse between man and woman, this world is born without any soul. For them, it is only a combination of matter that has produced the living entities, and there is no question of the existence of the soul. As many living creatures come out from perspiration and from a dead body without any cause, the whole living world has come out of the material combinations of the cosmic manifestation. Therefore, material nature is the cause of this manifestation, and there is no other cause. They do not believe in the words of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam. Under my direction, the whole material energy world is moving. In other words, Among the demons, there is no perfect knowledge of the creation of the world. Every one of them has some particular theory of his own. According to them, one interpretation of the scriptures is as good as another, for they do not believe in a standard understanding of the scriptural injunctions. Homagyanatimirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. So, the last words of the purport Prabhupada is saying about talking about creation theories. How everything has come about is a question that stands in front of everybody even today. And there is no definitive mention that this, how it has come about. There is Big Bang theory of creation. There is another theory by somebody else, and here and there. No definitive. They're all theories of creation. And it is so sad that they don't examine the fact that how can we theorize, speculate on the solid fact of creation. We are all born into this world and we see things that are already existing. That is how we are all mostly. We are not like Brahma, who came into this world and was asked to create and then learned how to create. And before creating, he actually met the Creator, the Supreme Lord, and then learned everything from him and then started secondary creation. All this is very nicely explained in detail. Of course, they say you're spinning a story somewhere from some book. Who knows this is true? Well, are you not also spinning a story when you say that in the beginning there was all gases and they condensed and vast masses of water formed, and then from that there was a chance combination and life arose from that, and then it multiplied marine creatures, and then they walked on land, and then gradually they were four-legged amphibians, and then they became two-legged, and like that it evolved. Who has seen these things happening? Nobody has seen it happening. And you may collect bits and pieces of evidence somewhere in archaeological evidence and this and that, but it is so sparse evidence for such a solid theory saying that everything came about by chance like this. Aparaspara sambhutam kim manyat kama haitukam. That's all. It just came about by lust and combination of man and woman, and beings arose. We're just speaking about human beings only. And that's how it happened. And that is a theory that is so solidly built. And everybody is driven to believe that. It's huge propaganda, but actually speaking, there is no solid proof of it anywhere. Although there is a little bit here, there, some archaeological evidences of skeletons and bones and everything together. For such a solid understanding and such a vital and important portion of our understanding of the truth about creation, to postulate something that it's happened like this. But who knows? Who knows? And some very sparse things are being spoken about. So today you go everywhere, the premise is that man came from the apes, he was prehistoric man and Neanderthal, Homo sapien man, and they show all these faces of different types of human beings, Pliocene age, the Miocene age, millions of years ago, and these type of, but it is such an amount of information that you want us to believe, and there is nobody really knowing that this is true. The type of evidence you have is so flimsy to believe such a solid theory that man came from the apes and evolved, physically evolved over a long period of time from mini micro organisms onwards, and evolved and evolved and evolved over millions and millions and billions of years, and came to this, to sit at this point of time today and go back trillions of years. This is how it happened. Seems to be pretty a long shot in the dark, like they say. You know, if you take a gunshot in the dark, you know, you get the target, you're aiming at something and you hit it. Somehow you hit it. Of course, you are not like one of those great archers like Arjuna or King Dasharath, who could shoot in the dark. Very well-trained persons who can get a bullseye target even in the dark. I'm not talking about that. Long shot in the dark means just let's shoot it, let's see if it happens like that. But this is such a vital, important understanding. And here you have in the Vedic scripture, especially Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying everything comes from me, material and spiritual, generally. Then he goes into great detail to explain how creation is done. And the Bhagavad Purana explains in the 2nd canto, in the 5th canto, it explains construction and design of the universe. It explains so many things in great detail. And the elements of detail that are there, we wonder that unless somebody has been involved in creation, how can he talk about this like this? And so also you have in other Bible, you have in Quran, all of them speaking about creation. How did it come in all these scriptures about creation? And if you look into that, you will see such detail mentioned there. Bhagavad Purana speaks about Sarga Visarga, primary creation and secondary creation. The primary creation is done by God himself in his manifestation as Vishnu. He comes as Vishnu, Mahavishnu, and then there is Garbho Udakashayi Vishnu in each universe. And then Garbho Udakashayi Vishnu is the main deity of the particular universe. And he creates. And then the secondary creation is done in each universe by Brahma. 84 lakh species of lives, bodies he creates and puts the souls into the, and there's a very detailed description of this primary creation and secondary creation. And it's all listed. Atra sarga visargascha sthanam poshanam utayah manvantari ishanukata nirodho muktirashayah. In this way, Bhagavata Purana has got different characteristics, 9 different characteristics. And one of them is creation and sub-creation. And it is repeatedly being created. It's not that one-time creation. It's a very casual thing. Every day of Brahma, there is creation. And every day of Brahma also, there is 1,000 times. And when he goes to sleep and when he gets up, and then in his lifetime when it finishes. So different types of creation of various intensity and detail is also mentioned. Now, who would mention all these things in such great detail if it was some story that they are spinning out? And similar things are mentioned also in various different Puranas and everything. So even if we don't understand by our own experiments and rationalization and observation, which we cannot, into a time so many billions of years ago, it's impossible for us to go there now. Maybe they're expecting they go in a time machine and do time travel backside and be able to go and see there and come back and report it is like that. These are all science fiction stuff. We don't know whether all those things are possible, but it's recorded. And these amazing scriptures tell us that some portions of it may not even be believable to us because we don't have that type of experience now. And why it is like that is also explained because we are in Kali Yuga and we have limited capacity in our understanding. Mandha sumanda matayo mandabhagyahi upadruta. This is the quality of people in Kali Yuga. Like that, I'm just giving you 2 scenarios. One, the theory. coming from apes, Darwin's theory of creation and Big Bang theory. I'm not saying it is wrong. Let us assume that it's quite possible it is correct, because it's all by logic and by anumana pramana and by discovery of a few objects that we put pieces of things together and put up this, because you don't want to look into any other text that says anything similar. But if you look on the other side into this proposal from the scripture that is mentioned, this seems more possible, because this is phantasmagoric, like Prabhupada is saying here. The demoniac conclude that the world is phantasmagoria. What to speak of creation, even the existing world is phantasmagoria for some people, right? So everybody is strangely tested with this. Now, with the existing theories that we believe in, man came from apes and we are all products of some chance chemical combinations billions of years ago, and we have achieved. What a hazy, what a scary theory about my origin and my creation. I don't know whether I like to believe in this, that I came from the apes and then by chance I am appearing and I'm not really planned, designed product. But actually, if you look at these creation explanations given in the scripture and look at the detail of the world that we see, we will definitely be inclined to believe that there has been a creator, that there is an intelligence behind it, there is a design behind it, there is a purpose behind creation. See, all these things, why I'm saying is very important in developing the correct attitude towards the world that we live in. When we have a different attitude of thinking that this is material resource that we can take, we can use, we can exploit, then we have an impersonal idea. But in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives a beautiful idea. He makes us understand that everything that you see in this world is my energy, is my energy. And if you see it that way, you will also become more conscious of me. And not only that, you will respect it because it's part of me. You will respect it and you will become more conscious of the Creator. And you won't think these things are all something for you to use as material resource only. That's a dangerous notion that has brought us to what we are in terms of the Earth planet, climate change, and destructions that are happening, and how very fast things are changing, and how the prediction is very grim and very dangerous. That is because we look at the material world in an impersonal way. When we look at it personally as the energy of Krishna, Sarvam Kal Vidam Brahman, the Brahman energy of the Lord is spread everywhere, then you know how to utilize it. Very nicely, the Isavasya Upanishad says that Isavashyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita magrida kasya suttanam. That everything belongs to the Lord. Isavashyam idam sarvam. Such nice understanding and concepts by which we can get good disposition towards this material world and live in it in a nice way, utilizing the facility given and living it as it is, and we living in harmony with everybody inside it. So this is a very important aspect of our understanding, that if we don't understand the creation along with God, then we land up with this type of an understanding. Asatyam apratishtamte jagadahu ranishwaram. And this is proclaimed in the Bhagavad Gita 5,000 years ago, 5,000 plus years ago in the battlefield. And people will tend to think like this. And that principle is even today available. It has not changed. does not change. And because of that Anishwaram, godless society, we see we have tremendous amount of problems. But whereas in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is asking us to have a detached understanding of this world, mixed with an understanding of where it comes from. It comes from God, belongs to God, everything is God, but you are here temporarily. It's a transition that you're through. So for the transition period, whatever you want, you utilize it and respect it and get the hell out of here. Because this is not your place. You're only transiting. You're only moving across. And it gives a very good viewpoint that each one of us should have. The world is real. It's temporary. But our experience of it is illusory. The way we look at it, the way we understand becomes illusory, especially when we have these notions as is mentioned here. So it's a creation, it's temporary, it will be wound up. And I am here to actually take the lesson of understanding the goal of life. The goal of life is to achieve the truth, the reality, God, Krishna. And whatever I am needed to use in this particular journey, I will utilize that alone. And I'm happy to leave it back. I'm happy to be free from it. So a certain type of a detached engagement in this world, plus at the same time a personal understanding of God, and therefore his energy, and therefore looking at things personally. It's very amazing when the 11th chapter Krishna says, I am the Ganges. In the 10th chapter also says, I am the Ganges amongst mountain, I am the Himalayas. Actually, in history, all these are persons. In our tradition, Ganges is a personality. We worship the river Ganges. Some Hindus are very shy to say that we worship the Ganges because how stupid, how can you worship a river? How can you worship a mountain? How silly you people are. So they feel very conscious about these things because they have not studied the tradition, studied the wonderful philosophy. Yes, they are persons. You'll be very interested to know that it seems in New Zealand now they have declared personality for a particular river because it's being polluted so much. And legal, they're given a position to the river. Legally, this river by name so much is a personality. You cannot pollute it. If you dump stuff into it, you'll be taken into, charge and you'll be punished, you'll be penalized. This is the only way they found that you can stop these people from polluting it. Introduce a personal understanding of the river. So although they don't know anything about Vedic philosophy and everything, it's very amazing to know that they found this is the only way to stop people from polluting the place. But here in Vedic culture, Ganges is a personality. You go to Vrindavan, Mathura and see Yamuna is worshipped. And at the same time, it's polluted like nothing also. And all the factories all along the way, they dump all their worst stuff into it. And it has almost become dry and almost dying. But the people in Vrindavan will worship Yamuna, where Krishna played and did so many wonderful pastimes. You will see that. And for them, Yamuna is a person. Yamuna Mahi ki jai. They will all be singing and going and taking bath in the Yamuna. This is the real tradition. And when Krishna was there, he saw the river is polluted by Kaliya, the snake Kaliya. And he decided, now I have to teach him a lesson because Yamuna is my wife. Kalindi is married to Krishna. That pastime is there. Kalindi is a beautiful looking lady moving up and down on the bank of the Yamuna. Krishna and Arjuna together are in the same forest next to the Yamuna. And they're moving up and down. And then Krishna sees this beautiful lady called Kalindi. And he tells, she looks so beautiful. Can you go and find out about her? And he sends Arjuna. This is all part of a Leela. And Arjuna goes and asks, who are you? So beautiful. She's parading up the bank of the Yamuna and she says, my name is Kalindi. I want to actually get married to Krishna only. He performs all these amazing pastimes in my river. I have nobody else in my mind that I can think of. So don't come and approach me in case you're thinking of anything. He said, no. I have come to approach you from that person only. And in this way, he arranges the marriage of Yamuna and Krishna, Kalindi. It's a very beautiful pastime there. And Kalindi gets married to Krishna. She's a person, a river getting married to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why people think, wow, you guys are really crazy, man. I thought it's got some sense. God spoke Bhagavad Gita. Now you marry him to a river. I cannot tolerate it. But do you understand that Yamuna is a person? It's in the same great scripture, it's mentioned, the Bhagavad, the story is mentioned. In the same Bhagavad, the story mentioned of Himalaya. Himalaya's daughter is Parvati. That's why people can't understand this religion at all. I mean, in the present day and age, personalizing the river, the mountain, all these different systems that are given, because they are personalities. Actually, they are personalities. Everybody is connected. Every tree is a personality. This is our understanding. Every tree is a spirit soul. And Prabhupada explains that there are mountains with wings who fly from one planet to the other. And then there are stories of these mountains. Govardhan in Vrindavan, it's a beautiful story. That mountain was somewhere up. Dronachala was his father, Govardhan's father. Govardhan was very young when Paulastya Muni actually told the father, I want your son Govardhan to accompany me. And he was forced to give his son. Son said, I'm going, but under one condition, if you place me down anywhere, I'll never get out from there. I can help you. But if you place me anywhere, I won't move from there anymore. He said, okay, come. Small boy, what do you know? But actually, Govardhan was an eternal servant of Krishna. He is coming to this world to serve Krishna. So when he is carrying and going on top of this place called Vrindavan, this Muni gets a feeling of, I want to empty my bladder. I want to urinate. So strongly he feels it that he places Govardhan down right there in Vrindavan place. And he goes to, and he comes back, he said, I told you I'll not get up afterwards. I'm not moving from here. Then he gets very angry. You small boy you are, and you're just trying to act with me. You know who I am? I curse you every day to reduce your size by a mustard seed, and you'll keep going down and down and down. So Govardhan said, whatever you want me to do, that's okay. Because I am here because this is Krishna's place. I don't mind what you say, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is going to come and he will be walking all over me. And I will be facilitating him. I'll have caves, mountains, trees, fruits, shrubs, valleys, waterfalls, and he will sport in all these places. I am here for that. I've been asked to come for that. And it doesn't matter if you have cursed me. So even today you go, people go around the whole Govardhan hill in parikrama. Govardhana parikrama is very great. Krishna himself did this parikrama and showed you must do this parikrama. Everybody should respect Govardhana and do this parikrama. Govardhana is me only. Like this, you have the story of the Prachetas. The famous story of the Prachetas in the Bhagavatam. This is another wonderful story wherein you have the Prachetas performing austerities underwater for so many thousands of years. Tapasya. And then when they come up, they see Vishnu and everything happens and he blesses them. And then they come out to the world again. And in the world they see that it's completely covered by trees because there is nobody ruling, there is no king, there is no leadership. And the trees have grown wild everywhere and the whole earth is covered with trees. So they get very angry. Somebody has not done his job properly. So they use their drishti and look at the trees in such a way that they catch fire and start burning the trees. All the trees are getting burnt by them. Then Brahma descends immediately and says, what are you doing? You're burning the trees. You're killing them. It's not correct. They are living. They're trees. And he stops them from doing it. He stops them from doing it. Then an amazing thing he does. He said, you get married to the daughter of the trees. Marisha is the daughter of the trees. In this way, the trees will become your in-law, father-in-law, mother-in-law, because the daughter of the tree you will get married to. And because they're related to you, no, you can't do anything to the trees. You have to respect them. So the whole relationship changed. They married Marisha, and trees became the father-in-law, mother-in-law. Can you imagine? This is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. So they started respecting them in relationship with them. And there are numerous stories you can go about. Kaveri River personality, the story about her. Godavari River, there is a story about her. And all these Vindhya mountain, there is a story about her. So don't think that all these mountains are just, bunches of dirt, huge and just there for nothing. If you go to Tirupati, they will tell you the whole mountain range is Seshachala, is Sesha, housing the Lord. What a concept, what an understanding. This is not just imagination. So all of these are personalized. Because they're personalized, we look after them carefully. And today they are telling that every tree on the surface of the earth, this is science, on the surface of the earth stands separately, but underground, microsome, I don't know what they call it, mycorrhizal connection. All the trees, those who are, some botany people now will know that they are all connected underneath. There's a huge network of connection under the ground. All the trees are connected. And then there are other living viruses and bacteria and all that carry food, water, and important minerals and everything from one tree to the other. They live off some commission that the tree gives them as food. And there is a glorious participation of millions and trillions and billions of living beings living underground, helping the trees to be connected. And they're all helping each other underground. There's a big network underneath. That's a very interesting thing that they found out and they're talking about. Every tree is a living being. In this Prachetas pastime, you can see that. And now in science, they say that they're living, conscious, living beings because the trees help each other. From here, some 50 feet away, another tree can get connection with this tree. This tree is very huge, roots spread. Smaller trees are all the children of this tree. It's looking after all the children and plus looking after other trees who are sometimes affected by some disease or something. They pump minerals into that tree and water it rains and it mixes up and something and all happens and the tree comes back to life. Everybody is involved in treating one tree, all the trees around. And sometimes they're not able to, the tree dies because of some disease. And they moan. And you can see that the tree's leaves hang down. All their people, they're spirit souls. And they're all connected underneath. Isn't it very amazing? And modern science, they have found it and they're telling, is it not amazing? You see, they're all connected and they're all helping each other underneath. So as science progresses, genuine science, coming to genuine conclusions like this, like I told you in New Zealand, they said the river should be personalized. In India, every temple deity is a person and the properties belong to the temple. He's a legal person, the deity. That, of course, we can understand God is not just a statue. We know he is actually God and he is a personality. Imagine if we start personalizing every river. How bad you will feel that you're pouring all your toilet and urine and dye and this and that into the river. Only when the river becomes personal, we think, I cannot do that. I cannot do that. So personalism, which is actually true, is a great solution for people in this world to stop polluting, stop exploiting the resources. You'll see that Ravana, he knew about the personality of some of these things and still roughly treated them, my possession, like that. He was so impersonal in terms of utilizing everything for his own gratification that he reached a height of even taking away Lakshmi, who is the consort of the Lord. And that is when Krishna said, now you must stop. You've even taken away my own spouse for your enjoyment. So now I should come and finish you. So when human society comes to that limit of exploiting material resources, depersonalizing them so that they can be exploited. This is a philosophy. First you depersonalize. Now we are busy depersonalizing people. Artificial intelligence, robotics and everything. And then, so what's so great about a human being? I can produce a human being. So it's become a huge industry and lots of money because you're producing people. They're saying that we are able to produce people. So they have lost value for human beings. They have depersonalized human beings. It is starting now. That's why people are very scared about this. There are moral and ethical questions about this. You're creating, you can design a woman the way you want and ask for it. I want blue eyes, I want blonde hair, I want this height, I want this weight, I want look like this, and you can get exactly what you want. Amazing. And the robot is programmed to do everything according to your swabhava. What are your likes? All your data and everything is already there. So you just have to give your data and they can download and they can make. You just have to give the specifications and they'll give you a model first. And then you say, I want to change this like this, like everything you can change, whatever you want. Color, skin, tone, texture, everything. And then you made and given. So real persons are going to be replaced by artificial persons. And the robot is fully programmed to understand what you like, what you don't like. So they have names and they keep such and such a person in the house. And that robot will never speak anything against you. Never do anything which you don't like. Because it's programmed according to what you want. And so very happily, it seems they're going to live. So this is depersonalization of the human being. Already human beings are called human resource. And how I can utilize you, what are all your abilities. And now human resource is replaced by robots. So where will this sort of attitude go and take us? You will stop, real human beings will stop being valued at all. There'll be no value. In fact, there won't be any difference. Already science fiction movies are filled with these type of things. You know the difference between a real human being and a manufactured human being. Right? Very dangerous. So this depersonalization of the world comes from not accepting God as the person who is the real creator. So one is understanding the creator, understanding his creation, and understanding all his energy, and understanding that there are personalities involved, and being in touch with this nice network alive in this world. Like I told you, underground there are trees, the mountains, the rivers are all connected. Then there are bees and birds all connected. Then other living beings are connected. It's a whole completely connected system. And all of them are buzzing with activity because they're connected with God, Krishna. But this human being is the only person who's totally disconnected with everything. And he cuts everything else. And he depersonalizes and he eats up all the living beings. And he does what he wants by drilling the earth. Earth is a person, Bhumi. We worship the earth. But he treats the earth so badly. He treats all the rivers and natural resources so badly because of his depersonalization of everything and not able to see the connectedness, how it is connected with God. What a huge loss. If you don't understand the creation, how it is made, for what purpose it is made. It's made for you and me to be very happy. Why don't you utilize it the way it is meant to be used? And all of them will work in sync with you. The rivers will give you plenty of cool, fertile drinking water. The mountains will give you fruits, vegetables, minerals. The sun will shine. And there is a whole system. And it's picking up wonderful herbs, wonderful fruit trees, creepers, and everything. All created for us and the other living beings. If we can understand this and live in harmony with God's creation, how wonderful the world would be. How wonderful people will have relationships with each other with a God-centered society. So, other people are also speaking about this without God. Some of them are saying no God, but still nature is so wonderful, ecology, connectedness, everything. But when they examine it somewhere or the other, they're not able to execute it because they don't have their personal philosophy, right? So man is not developing internally. Unless we develop internally and have our own understanding, I am spirit, soul, I'm not this body. I am connected with the Supreme Lord. Materially and spiritually, we are all connected and interconnected. And there is a Supreme Creator who is our Father. It fits in. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita this whole construct and the interconnectedness. So this philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita can be a wonderful solution to the problems in this world today. It can change human beings from inside out. If we transform inside to understand that I am a spirit, soul, conscious personality, and so also is this tree, this river, this mountain. If you can understand that, you will definitely respect them much, much better. You will not think them as just resources to be exploited and utilized by you. Build a dam, generate power from it, pollute it, suck out of it, do this to it, do that to it, everything. So this philosophy was understood in India. Long, long back, I think I spoke to you about the Chipko movement of Sundarlal Bahugana. I heard this from, the very famous, world famous Dr. Vandana Shiva. She's from those areas near the Himalayas. She's a doctorate and she's a quantum physicist and everything, but she turned out to be an activist, nature activist. Is very active. She and many other ladies from the Himalayas embraced the Chipko movement. Chipko means in Hindi to go and hug. They started drawing on the trees and tying the trees with some, particular type of insignia. And when the dams were being constructed, there was being deforestation. They went and hugged the trees and they put this, you cannot cut the trees. These trees are living. They provide us with water. They provide us with beautiful things. If you cut them, there will be floods. There will be, the network will be spoiled and lots of things will happen. So you cannot cut them. So they went and hugged the trees, and every tree they went and hugged. And they stopped them from constructing the dam. Power of a lot of these women. They said, don't. They're all our friends. They're all living. They had such a personalized notion that they couldn't build the dam. And today, because of that, lots of things have been saved in the small patch, but in other places they went and deforested and did things due to which reason so many problems are there. And now slowly the government is understanding maybe it is true. In our own land, in our own country, So many people understand these things, like I told you, New Zealand, and I'm showing you about Chipko, that there is an interconnectedness. And Bhagavad Gita explains that everything is connected with Krishna. And that is why Krishna is saying, among mountains, I am Himalayas, among rivers, I am the Ganges. He's saying that. And these are personalities. And we know about how Ganga was brought down for the, sons of Sagara to be, brought back to life. And there's a story of Asamanjasa, Amshuman, Dilip, Bhagirath finally brings in the whole generation. And then he brings Ganges, and Ganges says, who will bear my weight and my force? When I come down to the earth, I will penetrate the ground and go deep inside. And then he worships Shiva and says, can you hold her in your head? And Shiva says, I will do that. And then he holds Ganges, and controlled way he leaves her. He's called Gangadharan. Why, Lord Shiva, you worship so much? You should understand that, definitely you should understand that Ganges is a person, if you're a worshipper of Lord Shiva. Ganges is a person, don't pollute it. Don't pour all your nonsense inside her. So that Ganges is held, and in a controlled way she flows, and Bhagirath brings her, and then all those 60,000 sons of Sagara are revived. Today, Ganga Sagara. You'll go near, and you'll see that is a place where Kapila Muni's ashram is there. And so these are all not just fairy tale and stories. This actually occurred. And Ganga came down from the celestial world to this world. She's a person, and she's got a history, a genealogy, and a whole history behind. So sometimes even ourselves, we are all educated and everything, we have these doubts in our head. We are willing to believe Bhagavad Gita, but we may not very well believe this fantastic story of the Ganges or the Himalayas or Govardhan and everything. When we read Bhagavad Gita, we know that it is true because we see how it is true and why it is true, right? So this is a solution. People should understand, read Bhagavad Gita and understand personalities, interconnectedness, how we are all connected, and how Krishna is the main source and root of everything. And in this way, we'll develop a better disposition towards the world we live in. But if we look at these theories that they float, there is no accommodation for these type of things. But there's a whole activism going on wherein they like this idea of interconnectedness and being all these things, but without God. But okay, it's one step, it's very nice. But then since it is not having the full, complete understanding in philosophy, it's difficult to be implemented. And mostly the World Health, the UNO is expecting that faith-based organizations are the best to promote this particular attitude. Otherwise, depending on these nations, depending on their economy, and depending on their competitive stance, and depending on the political atmosphere, and having them and expecting them to make a change in terms of carbon footprints and all is never going to happen. Because they are not going to do it. Each one of them is selfishly trying to exploit nature's resources because they know it belongs to nobody, according to them. And so definitely the people will completely finish their nature's resources because there's no authority there for them. Their philosophy is up for grabs. Anybody can take it first. Nobody is bothered about the place we live in. So the next generation of youngsters are saying, you guys are completely nonsense, you and your industrial revolution. You have spoiled this planet and you're handing us in legacy a spoiled planet like this. So there are a lot of moral, ethical issues around these things. And none of these leaders can solve it on their own because there's no one authority for everybody. So you will see what is the meaning of a king, what is the meaning of a leadership, and how leadership is lacking and we are plummeting down. And it's all because of a godless civilization. When we accept God as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, and we act like that, and we transform ourselves, a true person who can contribute to society is that person who follows the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. It's not simply a religious text alone. There, Krishna is giving solutions to all the problems we have because of the attitudes of people. The godless attitude is screwing up the entire planet. And you want to say you don't accept God, religion, because of other types of occurrences. For everything, there is an explanation. So we should read Bhagavad Gita very deeply, and we'll understand deep ecology. We'll understand deep personality, and we'll appreciate that. And so Prabhupada wanted, our founder, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he proposed, this is the solution. And he very boldly went all over the world and said, there is God. And he is watching everything. And if we lead a God-centered life, we will lead a prosperous life. It's not some religious fanaticism. It is not some old fashion to believe in God. It is a reality. If you don't, you'll be finished. That's what it has come to now. So I think human society is very ripe to take the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, but it has to be presented in a manner that is acceptable. Om Tat Sat, Hare Krishna. Any question or comment you would have, you're free to address it in the chat box or physically voice it. Any question or comment? Shailaja Kulkarni, you said our experiences in this world are illusory, but we experience things with senses. It is temporary, but how it is illusory, please clarify. Yeah. Definition of illusion is any opposite of illusion, or opposite of unreal is real. Anything that is real is eternal, permanent. Anything that is unreal is temporary. This is a general thing, understanding. So although we are experiencing certain things through our senses, and for this time and for this particular situation, it is real for us, but that keeps changing. And that situation is not there anymore, and that particular experience is also getting over because you die. And once you die, you come back again. And the earlier experiences have no significance with you. They don't matter. So in this way, it's illusory whatever we go through because it can't sustain itself. This is the Vedic definition. But in reality, your spirit soul, there is a spiritual world, and all the experiences are real. They last. And it is not day and night, morning and evening type of limited experiences. You're controlled by the way you are situated inside this world. And that is no boundaries and no limit. And it is eternal. So that's of a completely different experience. So in relation to that, this is illusion. This is illusion. Means the experience of it is illusion. You see, there are two things. One is the material physical object, and then my experience of it. My experience of it is an illusion. Right? My experience of it is illusion. Karya karana kartrutve hetur prakrichir uchyate purusha sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve hetur uchyate. The 13th chapter, Krishna describes this. Karya karana kartrutve. Karya, the work. Reason, cause. Kartrutve, the work being done. Hetur prakriti uchyate, the cause is prakriti. But Purusha Sukha Dukkhanam Bhoktrutve Hetur Uchyate, the experience of happiness and distress belongs to the soul. So most of us are identifying everything through our experiences. And my experience of happiness and distress is how reality is understood. My physical experience with it and the corresponding feelings that I have. That is what is my reality. But those feelings are temporary. They last only in your lifetime. Bliss flashes according to your karma. It's all wiped out. So your experience is illusory. That's the way I would like to explain that to you, okay? The next question is, are these sins, cutting down trees, wasting water? Of course they are. Of course they are. You will have to suffer reactions for that. A tree is a living personality. You can't cut down a tree unless you have a specific reason for it. You have a specific reason. I'm going to carve a deity of the Lord, Jagannath, through this. I'm going to make something for the Lord out of this. You do minimum damage normally. I will just cut the branches and use it, but the tree will survive and live. I'll offer it to the Lord. That's how they would do. Trees are living beings, is the Vedic understanding. And you will see many of these stories appearing. In India, you will see, in Tamil Nadu, you will see that people marry the trees. I think I explained this earlier to you. People get married to trees, and then they get married to each other. It seems that trees take the bad karma of the person. And then because you're taking the bad karma, they'll do a lot of special things to the trees. They have all sorts of things going on here and there. Trees are living beings, there is no doubt about it in our understanding, because the trees come into being, they grow, they're born, they grow, they reproduce, and then they dwindle and they go. All life symptoms they exhibit. Okay, so another one coming here from the broadcast is Valli Krishna. Since the plants have sense, if we chant loudly and water the plants with offered water, in this way the plants get better life in the future. Yes, that is done in many places. And many places do. In Vrindavan especially, they won't cut the trees at all, because they think that all the trees grown in Vrindavan are actually great personalities. They're Krishna Bhaktas. So they'll water them, they will even clothe them. In some places they give cloth for the trees. They really treat very personally. In the Parikrama path, you can see in many places, this tree is Krishna has touched this tree, and his ancestors are all this is by Krishna. So they'll pray to the tree, put their head against the tree, and they will water the tree. They will do many things to the tree. We worship Ashwatha tree, we worship Tulasi plant, we worship, these are all considered to be worship, and that worship is accepted, and it gives you great benefit, credit. See, the personalistic philosophy is so important. And I hope that at least devotees would try as much as possible to be sensitive to these things. Unnecessarily cutting down trees, unnecessarily harming other living beings should be stopped. Should be stopped. I know of a person whose business was, spraying insecticide on huge areas of crops and everything. And after he became a devotee or some sort of a association with a movement, he suddenly came one day and said, I have read in your books that what I am doing is actually very sinful. Because when I spray this using a helicopter and using an aircraft, I spray it over huge acreages, thousands and thousands of acres. And I take these contracts and a lot of insects die. Mountains and mountains of insects are killed. All of them. So I felt that I am doing a very great sinful activity, isn't it? And he left that contract. He said that I should not do this. I know the profits are very great, but I don't do this. And then he came to later know that that company which is giving this contract out also has got problems getting people in India to do this. Because many of them are sensitive. I don't want to kill so many insects. Even if they're not very religious, they say, no, I don't want to do this. Why? Because they're thinking that there's some killing involved, some sin involved. So they were not able to get people to do it. So they were giving huge amount of money and he took it up without knowing these things. But after taking it up, he felt this and he dropped it. He dropped that. You see, he slowly came to know that what I'm doing is wrong. I should be in harmony. Not only will these trees also die, and there's many plants also will die because of this very strong chemicals that I'm spraying. Their life also will be reduced, and this thing, because mechanical production and money and the whole idea is completely wrong. This mass productions and consumerism and all that creates very, very, very bad effects. It was never meant to be mass production. Well, just enough for people. Each one has his own tree, his own this thing, his own requirement alone. That's what the construction is for. It's not meant for these mass exploitations. So these are reasons we should deeply ponder and exhibit our humanity in the proper way and live in congruence, consonance, and in good connectedness with Krishna. Bhagavad Gita's philosophy is so wonderful. It affords that in that total understanding of the reality in God consciousness. Okay? Any other question? Yes, Suresh Krishna Charan has raised his hands.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Yeah.
Humble obeisance to you.
Yes, Hare Krishna. How are you?
And
Can't hear you very well.
doing
A little broken. Yeah, go ahead. Can others hear? Can anybody hear?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
even others cannot hear.
Is it better, Maharaj?
It is better.
Maharaj, you mentioned creation. Yeah. You mentioned that
Gone again. I don't know, today the internet connection even here is very unstable. Suresh ji, I think you should take off your video and only speak. Cut off your video and only speak. Can you do that? Jagdish, in the meantime, when Suresh makes up, is Jagdish M, your hands are up?
Hello, Maharaj.
Yes.
Good evening, Maharaj. Yeah, I have one question. Actually, today, because of one construction work, I transported the 2 trees, and below that, today I found that tulasi leaves were there. The close to 5 or 6 tulasi leaves, which looking that one, it looked like many years. Then immediately I took that one and relocated to another place. So my question here is, in certain situation, we may need to do like this. So my question here is, what we should do it before making the transportation or moving from the other one. What today I did it is, Krishna, I just want to move it here because of some construction work. Please accept my sorry for this one. So I told her that's the way I started today. But is there any process which I should follow and which will help the others also?
Well, I think I understand that you have shifted some tulasi plants from one place to the other. You have replanted it.
Yes.
And so that is the right way of doing it. There's no great ritual or ceremony. Don't think about all that.
Yes, and
trees, you've taken it from the
root. Along with the other trees also.
Fine.
Yes.
That's very good. Very nice. Many people do that. In
Kerala,
Should
we do any process to do? Any process to any
what do you mean by
process?
Follow? What do you mean by process? You want some ritual, some mantra to be chanted, some homa, yajna to be done? Not required.
Okay.
Not required. Just be sensible and take out by the root and transfer it and replace them and make sure that they are watered and they need attention for some time till they catch off in another place. Whatever is required, you do. People do that all the time. That is respectable. And I mean, that is respect oriented, and it is nice to do it.
Yes,
That's
yes,
correct
because-
what you have done. Fine.
Okay, Prabhu. Yes,
Fine.
Prabhu. Because why I asked the question, because you showed that image where all the plants are connected, and when suddenly one of item is moved. and
No,
there'll
they
be
will
a-
connect themselves again. They have the
Okay.
capacity to do that. That is a secondary connection. Their roots will grow inside again very fast and connect up with all their people. You don't have to worry about that.
Okay. Prabhu, I have one more question. So today on the Bhagavad Gita, demonic person. So my question is, why the human beings turning to demonic? What was so they are coming here as a only Atma and with a human body, but why they're turning to demonic? What is the condition which makes them to demonic condition, and why Krishna didn't control it there? And because of that, so many demonic persons came here, and we need to suffer. The devotees has to suffer.
Well, the design of the world is like that we cannot live exclusively for us another planet of only devotees like that. We are also persons who become devotees now, but we are also persons who have gradually become what we are by cultivating good qualities and meeting with other people who have understanding of Bhagavad Gita and other things. So the presence of demonic people is first of all to be understood by the demonic attitude.
Mhm.
So you should actually understand attitude, which is the basis of this type of actions. So why are there people with demonic activities? Krishna is saying in this world, there are people, Dvaubhuta Sarga Loke Asmin Deva Asura Evacha. There are two types of people in this world, Devas and Asuras. And the Devas listen to my instructions and the Asuras don't. Krishna can control many things. If he controls everything, individual persons and their will and their everything, then life will be like Hitler. That, he's not going to control it like that. When individual free will is there and people perform out of their own good understanding and education and proper understanding of God consciousness and the creation of the Lord, everything together, then it is a mature understanding. It's the duty of every human being to mature, to learn, to mature, and to grow spiritually. In society, there are no leaders who teach people these things. And because of that, most people who get educated in this world in the godless education system and the so-called materialistic education that you get, by default will be wired demonically only. You go and see what you're learning. You don't learn anything about the creation of the Lord. You learn that your great-grandfather is a monkey. You learn that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and you write exam on that and believe in it. And you learn that creation occurred and all chemicals and all that, we are nothing but this thing. So you learn depersonalization, you learn materialistic understanding. There's nothing spiritual about it in the education system. And this is the demoniac syllabus you have.
Okay.
And what do you expect from this type of education? Whom to come? Angelic people who will fly into the sky from this type of thing? No. This education is grooming people accordingly for their own type of economy and their type of political clout and everything that they have. They are creating people for themselves. There's a strong lobby of such people who rule the world, the demoniac attitudes. And our world is ruled like that only. You look at the things going on in the world today, nobody has control over it. Nobody has control. Just look at the debate that's going on and how this virus came in. Slowly, information is coming that US has funded and there are documents and they say, yes, we funded, but we did not fund this one. But earlier, they never told us all these things. They said it is leaked from some, animal market in China. But all the time they knew all these things. China knew, America also knew. They didn't breathe any word. And somebody found out, and so now they are giving explanations for more and more and more. So there are people who don't care that many people will die by contacting this virus. Millions have died already.
Yes.
So do you think this world is ruled by very nice people or ruled by people who are demoniac?
Yes. Yeah.
So this is a product of the education system, and these are the people who may even be Nobel Prize winners for all you know, for the type of discoveries they have done, for the type of things that they have done. I'm not saying all of them are bad. Some of them have got genuine intentions of using medicine and using this thing to help human society and all that. But they're in the wrong side. They're in the wrong side. And so you'll get punished accordingly. Because of that atmosphere, because of that mentality, because of that attitude, everybody else who is in between also has to suffer. We live with them. They're our neighbors. They're our rulers. They're our leaders. How can you be without suffering?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah.
The internal development is needed. The spiritual.
Yes, yes. You have to understand it deeply, properly, the Bhagavad Gita's message. And we can work on it. And definitely, Krishna, who is in charge, knows these things, and he will support his devotees. And that type of thing will happen. It happened 5,000 years back like that only. There were demons, Duryodhana and gang. They fought within the same family. And Krishna appeared and reinstated and routed all of them and reinstated the right people. Isn't it? That's history. So as long as we are following the instructions of Krishna, we can expect that at the right time, according to Krishna's plan, things will happen.
Yes. Maharaj, I have a follow-up question, but if anyone
I will give a chance to Suresh Krishna Charan, who is.
Yeah.
I think Suresh ji, if you
Hare Krishna.
cut off your video, your voice will come out better without this thing.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah.
I hope I'm audible now.
Yes, you are.
Maharaj, you, while speaking about creation of God, you refer to primary creation where Brahma is created, as well as the secondary creation. And, after life, we have Brahma create so many lives, and then we take many, the spirit souls also take many births till the final annihilation, that is Pralaya, and where everything will be annihilated, and then a new Brahma will be created. So here, what happens to the spirit souls? Devotees of the pure devotees of the Lord will reach Krishna Loka by getting God's grace. And what will happen to other spirit souls?
So they are temporarily lodged in Mahavishnu. He is the repository of all the spirit souls. And Mahavishnu's one breath is equal to one lifetime of Brahma. So he is a huge, amazing repository. So when the next Brahma comes, and the spirit souls are again impregnated into the material system by the Lord himself. Aham Mahadyonir Mahad Brahma. Tas Garbham. He speaks about the fact that the womb of material nature is impregnated by me with spirit souls. And then after that, Brahma does a secondary creation of giving them all bodies and creating matter and all that together. Material bodies. The basic ingredients are given by Bhumi, Rapo, Analo, Vayu, Kam, all that created by the Lord. Then the secondary creation is done by him, and all of them get bodies again, and they go through that cycle, and then again it's wound up, and again it comes up, and again it's wound up, like a balloon being blown and contracted, blown and contracted. Continuously creation is going on and annihilation is going on. That's why this world is like a drama on a stage. It's not real. Okay? And all those spirit souls are constantly resting in the body of Vishnu, the transcendental, very huge body, Mahat. That's why it's called Mahavishnu. To give you an idea, it is mentioned Saroma Kupam. Roma Kupam means hair hole on the body of Vishnu's body. From that hair hole bubbles universes. So you can imagine how big Mahavishnu is. In other words, the diameter of the hair hole is equal to the diameter of the universe. So we are not talking about somebody chota here. It is very difficult to understand these scales. So all the spirit souls and the entire thing rests in him. and it comes out again. So he's in Yoga Nidra. You'll see a picture of this. All this is explained in Bhagavatam and the scriptures also, in many other places in great detail. So answering your question, all the spirit souls rest in Vishnu because he is the representative of the Supreme Lord for the material world. And he's an Amsha, Kala Amsha of the Supreme Lord Krishna. And from him, it goes on and on. And those who get liberated and get Krishna Bhakti, they are sent from there to the spiritual world. Okay?
Thank you very much, Maharaj.
So Mahavishnu is a temporary resting point. Oh, there are a lot more questions here. Prashop Pai, when Shastras mention trees, mountains, rivers, etc. as personalities, ignorant humans take it as sentimental attitude. Do devotees need to perform service to the nature as a social custom? No, they just have to worship Krishna first. They should understand. And then from worship of Krishna, they will also understand everything is interconnected. So Krishna is worshipable and everything connected with him is also worshipable. In fact, Lord Shiva is making a statement. Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnu aradhanam param. Out of all types of worship in this world, Vishnu worship is considered to be the topmost. Tasmat parataram devi tadiyanam samarchanam. But greater than the worship of Vishnu is to worship those connected with Vishnu, his devotees, his paraphernalia. That is why we worship the Ganges, because it flows from the lotus feet of Vishnu. Padanakhanira janita janapavana. We worship Ganges. We worship those attached to Vishnu. His deity form, his devotees are all worshipable. So this is the way to understand it. We don't have to perform a separate new social custom or anything. The social custom that you need to adopt is already mentioned in the scriptures. It's not anything new. You just have to recognize God, and automatically you'll start recognizing everything associated with God. Prabhupada said, love me, love my dog. He explained the British expression. If you love God, you should love God's dog. So Prabhupada used that and said, love me, love my dog. So he said, everything connected with the Lord also, we love, especially his devotees, because they are the portholes, they are the ways through which we can approach the Lord. Then everything, items that they use are also spiritualized. The Lord uses, so it's taken as prasadam. When we get an item, sometimes we get, this is the Lord's band, this is the Lord's cloth. People take it and worship it. They tie it around their head and they use it as a necklace. And they, Rath Yatra time, I get the cloth of the Lord used for before his main dress was put, and all the devotees get prasadam from the pujari. It's worn by the Lord. So it's worshipable. They tie it and they keep it, and it enhances their devotional service. It enhances their attitude towards God and everything. So these are enough. If you're devotionally attitude, if you have that personal attitude, automatically these things will follow. And they are not sentiments. People who don't understand God will say this is useless sentiment, some dogma and everything. No, we have a scripture. We follow according to that. And there are great personalities who have practiced it, acharyas and many. And according to that, we do. We're not blindly doing anything. And this is not sentiment. You're saying that because you don't know the science behind it. You get influenced by these activities that you do, and you develop an expanded consciousness, a blossomed consciousness. And that is proof of the fact that what we are doing is correct. Okay. Venkatarajan, humans are exploiting resources more than any other creatures in this planet due to their arrogance that they know everything and can do anything they want. How Lord, the original creator, will put a check on this? Well, how he's planning to do, I really don't know, because I'm not his private secretary for sure. I am just a small practitioner of the instructions I'm trying, and what I know I'm trying to teach you. But it's mentioned nobody knows the Lord's plan so easily. Bhishma tells Yudhishthira while he's lying on the bed of arrows, and Krishna is also standing. He says that everything is a plan of the Lord. Nobody knows his next plan, but it is always good for his devotees. right? It's always good for his devotees. So what we do is simply follow the instructions of God. Chant Krishna's names, worship Krishna, and try to show our respect with sensitivity towards God's paraphernalia, and it reminds you of him. And in this way, Krishna, who is in your heart as super soul, he knows your real, genuine feeling and attitude. And that sincerity is enough for us to be connected. And if each one does this, human society will become such a wonderful society of mature human beings. And automatically, all these issues will stop. This is how Prabhupada wanted it. And gradually, if that doesn't happen and the demons or demoniac people disturb it, then Krishna has a way to stop it. And we have full faith that something will happen. We just have to be a little patient. Sujita, my question is not from today's topic. Is a devotee is sick and she start think about children, the life partner, and think Krishna punish me? Is the thinking is correct, Maharaj? How to come out from these types of thoughts, Maharaj? Just need some words from you for the types of thoughts. Okay. This is, if a devotee is sick and he's feeling that Krishna is punishing me. No, Krishna doesn't involve himself in all these things. You must understand, he's a very sophisticated personality who deals only in love, in bhakti. These things are done by other lower officers. Your karma and everything. You in the past done something wrong and there's some karma you're suffering, so you're sick or whatever it is. That's all. It's a small thing. Everybody goes through these things. Sometimes people are actually generating something new, or due to some other action, you are getting sick. All these things are true. Karma is a very complex this thing. But unnecessarily being, afraid and being phobic, some type of this thing, that we should not have to be. Unnecessarily don't exaggerate and agitate yourself. Krishna is not some dirty person wanting to punish you unnecessarily. He's your father. He's protecting you. And whatever is happening by your karma and everything is because of another department, and you have done that wrong. And that's how we take it. Normally, a devotee takes it that this is a reaction for something that I have done, and it is minimized by Krishna's influence. I should have suffered even more. And then in that situation, a person becomes more surrendered to the Lord. That's all. That's the mood he takes up. And quickly, Krishna will always relieve a person from these type of situations. And we should not, unnecessarily think. That's why we should keep in touch with Shastra, with Bhagavad Gita. The more we read, the less we will have speculations. The more we will be having correct thoughts. The more we associate with other devotees. So we don't have to worry. Everybody gets sick because his body is designed for sickness. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. Vyadi is part of this body's design. Everybody gets sick. Even kids get sick. 1-year-old kid gets sick. An 80-year-old man also gets sick. And throughout your life, you get sick so many times. So what? Body's nature is like that. And there are germs and viruses and bacteria that affect you and you become sick. So that doesn't mean that Krishna has punished you. As part of living in this world. So while you're sick or whether you're not sick or anything, you should always keep Krishna conscious, because this is how the world is designed, what to do. Okay. We are saying these are all karma, don't think bad, but that person, okay, on that time only again start unwanted thoughts like the above I note. Anyway, I've answered that to you. Please chant Hare Krishna and be dependent on the Lord, and wonderful things can happen to you. Om Tat Sat. Good night. Hare Krishna. Jai.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.